Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Olympus call. I just want to take a quick moment here to thank everyone for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us on our third Olympus call. And boy, do we have a plethora of updates to share with everyone today. But before we begin with our Olympus call, we recently had a great reception at WebEx in Japan. So I'd like to ask our very own Japanese community superstar and dragon-slaying samurai, AJ, to say a few words to our Japanese audience.
Hi everyone, I'm AJ. I work at ZWG and Super Team Japan. As for Zeus, I've been supporting the growth of the Japanese community since early last year. Tonight, Zeus Network Japan Twitter account will also stream the Olympus call in Japanese. Japanese Olympians, see you. 日本のオリンピアンの皆さん、オリンパスコールをご覧いただきありがとうございます。Zeus Network Japan のアカウントから日本語で今回のオリンパスコールをリアルタイムで配信しますので、ぜひ Zeus Network Japan のアカウントの方の AMA にお越しいただければなと思っております。よろしくお願いします。
Arigato. Thank you so much, AJ-san. Now, those of you who tuned into our second Olympus call will know that Bitcoin summer on Solana is in full swing, and we'll be sharing more with you shortly. But before that, let me introduce myself. I'm Deez. I'm the 69-year-old intern and lead at btcSOL, and I'll be your steward on this intergalactic journey tonight. So buckle up, grab some snacks, open up that special bottle of wine you've been saving, because this is going to be a good one. As is tradition here at Zeus Network, we introduce the ladies first. And with that, please allow me to introduce Carmen, marketing lead at Zeus Network, and the one who puts vision in Visionary. Next, we have Justin, co-founder at Zeus Network, and the bringer of lightning. Next up, we have Peter, head of strategy at Zeus Network, and the granite pillars of the Temple of Zeus. And last, but definitely not least, we have special guest Luke, co-founder at Loopscale and the on-chain APY Jedi. Before we continue on, I'm going to take a quick second to give thanks to our ZWG community, who is always showing up in the chat and in the community in general. So thank you for tuning in, gang. Thank you so much for being amazing. Now, can I get some ZMs in the chat, please? There we go. ZM. All right. Now that we have introductions out of the way, I'll quickly share the agenda for today so we can get going ASAP. We've got Apollo updates, btcSOL upgrades, followed by the Bitcoin report and Zeus updates. Wrapping it all up, we have a ripping hot fireside chat with our special guests tonight. Now, speaking of ripping hot, let's start with the Apollo updates. Peter, the floor is yours.
ZM, thank you, Deez, for the warm introduction, and thanks AJ for swinging by and also joining the call tonight and leading the Japan Twitter space at the same time. So my name is Peter, head of strategy at Zeus. Today we'll be going over Apollo updates. I'm sure some of you guys have already tried out the new update, Apollo V2, but today we'll be going over what's new. So without further ado, let's dive in. So as you know, Apollo V2 delivered improved performance. We have cut down the processing time by 50% when moving your permissionless Bitcoin between Bitcoin and Solana. So technically speaking, when you're trying to mint zBTC or burn zBTC for native Bitcoin, we have cut down the time of V1, which cost 60 minutes, now is reduced to 30 minutes. And also we have added two features, which we'll be going over quickly. All right. So that's Apollo V2. We have two new features. One is the Earn. Apollo Earn basically is your DeFi yield dashboard. And with the Earn, it showcases zBTC yield opportunity across 12 different protocols. Users can filter strategy by APY or TVL, depending on the risk factor, and with boosted options highlighted on top. So for users to be easy to identify and discover, strategy that's currently hot or on promotion. So with the Earn page, we're seeing great user activity. We have seen 17% increase of usage with the Earned. I think it's a great way for any DeFi user who are trying to make Bitcoin yield or utilize their liquidity to utilize that dashboard to have easy access to all the things that's going on with zBTC. So currently we have 12 protocols, 12 different votes and LP pools live and running. We are continuously planning the next product and next votes with protocols to come up with different strategies. So stay tuned for that. And we mentioned there is a second upgrade, which is a seamless Bitcoin deposit via centralized exchanges. I'll play a quick video to guide you through what the process will be like. Done. So basically, this new feature, Apollo now provides user with a unique deposit address and a QR code, making it simple to send Bitcoin directly from centralized exchanges without additional steps. So give it a try, see if that helps. It's just another additional gateway for Bitcoin liquidity to come on board onto Solana. So now talking about the stats performance. Ever since the Apollo V2 upgrade, we have seen a steady growth in holders. I think this increase has been impacted by the V2 and also, of course, with the launch of btcSOL, which essentially converts the Solana yield to Bitcoin, and this allows more zBTC to be distributed across Solana users. So now zBTC holders are slightly above 8,000, which is about 2,000 more than previous call, which we had about a month ago. And also with the Apollo V2 upgrade, the total zBTC minted on Solana has broke the 400 mark, which is a pretty good milestone for us at this current scape. It's pretty exciting. And I think with the V2 upgrade, we have seen a few significant large amount of deposit Apollo on Apollo. And yeah, we're very, very looking forward to see more of those Bitcoin coming onto Solana and being deployed into DeFi ecosystems. So for the partnership, here are the current partnerships, all the main dexes, power lending protocols. Shout out to Lucascale. Luke is here with us. So yeah, over the course of this summer, it's called the Bitcoin Summer. We have partnered up with quite a few different protocols to run different strategies and different campaigns for the users to get their Bitcoin to work for them. And like Des mentioned, we just wrap up a few conferences. We were in Tokyo, and recently last week we just finished Taipei Blockchain Week, which we had pretty good discussion with different teams. And I'm not sure if some of you guys saw the Twitter post. Huma Finance made a visit to our Zeus office in Taipei, and yeah, we had a pretty good discussion about what they're trying to achieve in the future in the stablecoin landscape. And yeah, stay tuned for that. And yeah, for the stablecoins, we've been talking with another team called Unilat's USDU. So I think moving forward, you guys can expect there is going to be more ways that you can utilize your Bitcoin, regardless if it's borrow lending, borrowing stable coins to do some DeFi, that kind of stuff. So stay tuned for that. So wrapping up, I think I'm done updating Apollo V2. So here, if you haven't tried the Apollo V2, here's a QR code that you can scan right now to check out the earn page. You can give us some feedback on how we can better improve and optimize the whole user flow. And on the bottom newsletter, so today we actually released one of the first Bitcoin report. So you can actually scan that QR code to get access to Zeus block, which has all the information that you need, regardless if you want to earn more with your Bitcoin, LP strategies, insights on the Bitcoin landscape, economy on Solana. You can also scan that QR code and check that out. Carmen will talk a little bit more on the Bitcoin report later in the call. So I'll pass the mic down to Des again. So thanks again, everybody, for tuning in.
Thank you, Peter, for sharing those updates on how to make your Bitcoin work for you for once. It's always amazing to see the continued growth and adoption of zBTC, basically in every area on Solana DeFi. But okay, listen. I might be a little bit biased here, but this next section about our btcSOL upgrades is definitely the most interesting part of the entire call tonight. So if you only listen to one thing, listen to this part, because today at 11 a.m. Taiwan time, a little over 1.5 months since we launched mainnet, we announced our latest round of upgrades to btcSOL. Now you might ask yourself, why? Because we want to continuously expand our product ecosystem, and we heard our community feedback. And I'm a firm believer of building what your community wants, not what you want. Having said that, we've implemented the following core updates, and I'll begin with the biggest update of all. We've added 2 new LSD champions to the arena. We've added jupSOL and kysOL. Now, I'm sure these 2 champions need no introductions whatsoever, but please show your support by staking to your favorite LSD team and accumulate Bitcoin today. Additionally, we've added new features that our community have been asking for, including eliminating the 24-hour unstaking cooldown, and for those of you who are slightly more inclined, manual slippage adjustment. Now, more importantly, I feel that we've upgraded the UI to make it that much easier and clearer for everyone to use the dApp. So regardless of your skill level, you'll be able to navigate through our dApp with ease. Now, for our Olympus Call exclusive alpha drop, we'll be holding our signature 2x reward campaign that will be starting on September 16th, and it'll run until the end of the month. That's September 30th. All right? So don't miss out on the boosted Bitcoin rewards. This is our signature program, and you can earn twice the amount of rewards in zBTC. But remember, in order to qualify, you must remain staked for the entire duration of the 2 weeks. My advice would be to stake it and forget it, and just let your Bitcoin accumulate. Lastly, as a WebEx and B-Ball introduction celebration, we held a special raffle for all users that were staking btcSOL during the entire week of WebEx. All users that were staked on the platform were automatically entered, and one winner was drawn. Here you can see this is the winning wallet. So if this is your address, please go to our Discord and open a ticket. You will need to authenticate that you actually own the wallet. So please only open a ticket if it's actually your wallet. Now, that's a wrap for all we've implemented at btcSOL, where we make stacking stats more seamless. Speaking of stacking stats in Bitcoin, our next session is a brand new section where the Zeus team has compiled a comprehensive crypto-wide Bitcoin report, spearheaded by our marketing guru, Carmen. Carmen, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Steve. Excited to release on-chain Bitcoin economy report of 2025, been working hard with Frank, our head of GM Growth and Marketing, and exploring how like Bitcoin profiles have transformed from 16 years ago to now. We also took a look at like the multi-chain battlefield for Bitcoin and seeing what's driving big BTC inflows and outflows across different ecosystems, as well as diving deep into the Solana Bitcoin ecosystem itself. So yeah, let's start with the big picture. Right now, 2% of network entities control 71% of all Bitcoin, meaning that ownership is still highly concentrated. And globally, 96% of the world has never owned a single Satoshi. But that's all set to change. With more people entering at a 100K price point, we see that Bitcoin holder profiles are changing. There's a shift from just holding. Users aren't waiting 16 years to 10x. They want yield now. So at this moment, there's $2 trillion worth of Bitcoin sitting idle, and that's the largest untapped capital pool in history. So Bitcoin has already proven itself as like a store of value, but now the opportunity is about making it productive and turning that idle capital into yield, liquidity, and powering applications. So let's have a look at the tokenized Bitcoin landscape in 2025. There's over 360,000 BTC, worth around 40 billion US dollars, tokenized already across networks. And we're seeing strategic platform selection based on specific use cases like institutional credibility, technical performance, and native integration. We're seeing that that's driving decisions on where people deploy their Bitcoin. And while ecosystems like Tron are experiencing huge BTC outflows, BTC capital is like consolidating into three buckets. So we see it consolidating into buckets like native Bitcoin chains like Stacks, user chains that have big user-based access like Base, and also ecosystems where DeFi performance is superior, like Solana. So Solana itself has shown over 76% year-over-year growth in terms of BTC deposits, and that's really showing how Bitcoin holders are kind of telling us what they want, which is like speed, low fees, and deep liquidity. So we can take a deeper look into the Solana ecosystem, and we see that tokenized Bitcoin is exploding with already 410 million US dollars worth of new Bitcoin capital coming in this year alone. And it's not just whales depositing their Bitcoin. We see that adoption is following with unique Bitcoin holders on Solana increasing by 66% this year already, which is pretty great. And where Base's BTC inflows can be attributed to like Coinbase's large user base, and where Stacks mainly focuses on its own like tokenized version of Bitcoin, zBTC, Solana offers more tokenized Bitcoin diversity options, diversity with like deep liquidity. And it's not just tokens. Solana's Bitcoin ecosystem already includes 21 projects from DEXs to DeFi protocols where you can already earn with your Bitcoin. And Solana even has the first DAO holding BTC in its treasury. So taking a look at why this is happening now, there's three reasons. One is technical maturity. So infrastructure like Zeus is finally here to extend Bitcoin's programmability while keeping its security. Two is community readiness. Over 40.6 billion Bitcoin, $40.6 billion in Bitcoin is active today in DeFi, which shows that people already want to get their BTC moving and earning. They don't just want to hold anymore. And three is market necessity. So with $2 trillion in idle Bitcoin sitting there, it means that there's increased pressure for productivity. And this is exactly why Zeus exists, to turn Bitcoin's idle capital into the backbone of the next generation of DeFi through products like Apollo and btcSOL. as well as integrations with like major DeFi protocols. Zeus is making Bitcoin usable across DeFi ecosystems, starting with Solana. And there's a lot more to dive into in the report. But if you really want to understand the full picture, the numbers, competitive landscape, and where the opportunities are, you can scan this QR code and read the full report over on the Zeus blog. And yeah, that's it from me. Right now, I'll hand it back to our host, Dees.
Oh, thank you so much, Professor Carmen. I know everybody will be rushing to scan that QR code, but don't worry if you didn't catch it, because we'll be sending you this info in a follow-up email shortly. But you'll definitely want to catch what our co-founder Justin is about to throw at you in our next session, Zeus updates. Justin, the floor is yours.
All right, guys. I don't need to hire things. My background's in the office. It's almost 10:30 p.m. A lot to update, a lot to say, but nevertheless, it's been one hell of a journey for the last 4 months. Sorry, I lost my voice during the conference, and I think a lot of people have taken Zeus for granted in a way that we got it, that we've been TG for almost a year and a half. But we have only been mainnet for 4 months. 4 months. And in fact, we almost 5 months in a few days. Actually, almost got 5 months. And yeah, we're still early in the way that I get a lot of hate. I got a lot of criticism saying that, you guys have been in the space forever, but that's wrong. We barely just went live. We just went live in this year, April, right? So, and then what we have done has been transform into reality where, last year we promised you guys using Solana to validate Bitcoin transactions. We made it happen. Last year we promised you that there's going to be more dApps than just Apollo. We made it happen with btcSOL. And this year we promised V2, just happened a few months ago, and along with Apollo V2 that just went live. And V3, we are on the way to V3 already for Zeus as our info layers. I think what we don't know here is that we are constantly trying to improve our infra with it on UX, speed, user experience, and the overall architecture of the Zeus as an info layer, right? So, obviously, with btcSOL and Apollo, we are able to generate the inflow outflow economy of over $120 million for the last 4 to 5 months. We believe with more application using this method of using Solana to validate incoming transactions and then withdraw and deposit in a permissions manners, we're able to 10 times, 20 times these numbers in the next few months. All right, go to the next page. I think the key update here will be institutional partnerships. I think we promised that there's going to be institutional guardians. There's going to be institutional partnerships, and we were fortunate enough to able to connect with tons of institutions for the last few months, and finally we were able to close this down, working with first ever a New York Star listed exchange company, Mental Alpha Math, directly deposit Bitcoin to Zeus onto Solana. I think this is a huge milestone, right? For the last 6-7 years, for the last 2 years before Zeus was born to Solana, all these institutions have to be heavily dependent on all these off-chain solutions where they can earn yield through CeFi DeFi or a third-party validator that validated Bitcoin bringing to on-chains. But finally, there's a company that start to appreciate our tech, our edge, our advantage, where they want to deposit Bitcoin directly into Zeus as an info layer, onto Apollo, and earn yield on Solana. So I think overall this is very historical. Historical as in institutions start adopting the solution from DeFi rather than a solution from CeFi or centralized parties. So this is something that we envision. It's something that we envision right from the start when you started building on Zeus almost 2 years ago, that all these institutions are going to be either left out or start adapting toward DeFi solutions. And here we go. I think I don't have to say why we went all-time high. We have 426 BTC, $48 million TPL at all-time highs. But one thing I have to argue here is that all-time is great. Obviously it means that we get more trust from depositor, such as institution, retail, or so on. But Zeus isn't about TVL overall. It is more about that the inflow outflow economy, right? We are not locking this TVL forever. In fact, if you deposit BTC to Zeus and mean one zBTC, you can withdraw anytime, anywhere you want. There is no restriction for it. So I would say that one of the best metrics, two metrics I would look at, three metrics I would look at for Zeus as info layers. First, obviously, all-time high. It kind of like representing the overall interest from the fast communities. Second will be the amount of volume that is being generated through its use as info layers. So you can also check that from Zeus Scan as well. The third, but the most importantly, is the amount of application that's actually built on top of Zeus. So right now we have 2. Hopefully we have 2 more to come, and I'm very confident of this. 2 applications got Zeus this far. What if we build more application that using Zeus as an info layer to generate more Bitcoins? I don't want to talk about too much about alphas, but I think one zBTC is not enough. There should be 10 versions of zBTC. There should be 20 versions of zBTC. There should be more versions of zBTC coming to Solana, coming to any other blockchains powered by Zeus, tokenized by Zeus. So this comes to the final decisions where we decided to open the delegations to the public, and frankly speaking, for the last 2 days, ever since we announced it, a lot of people ask me why we open this delegation this late. In fact, if we were open this delegation at $1 or 0.8, that would even make the part even worse, right? So I would say this is that we want to open this open delegation due to several reasons. First, we think the security is ready. We've been audited by many times already, and we're also currently trying to add more guardians to this the Zeus node lineups. But the third, the most important part is we think it is the right time. Not just the price. I don't want to speak for price, right? But I think it's a reasonable time to open this delegation. That I think there's so much more upside. It's reasonable to tell people that, hey, now might be a good time to purchase Zeus and delegate to secure the network together. Obviously, we don't want to be those kind of malicious players where open out like $1, open out 0.8 to everyone delegate, lock it, and be like, yeah, sure, what's happening? But in a way that we can control the price in many ways. It doesn't matter why you guys say we dump the price. Well, now we don't dump the price. First of all, we just think that now is a good time. I can't really disclose too much why, but now is a reasonable time to delegate. And so far, we've been seeing millions of Zeus token being delegated already, and these will be open until it hits the capacities. But wait, there's more. We're also looking to add a few more guardians. Once guardian sets up, there will be more capacity for people that hold Zeus to delegate their Zeus into the guardian as well. So stay tuned on that. We're very excited to really announce that the future guardians are actually on the way to join our networks. And I guess a lot of you also wonder, what is Zeus focus right now, right? I think, like Carmen just mentioned on her report, that there's trillions of dollars of Bitcoin sitting idles, whether on the ledgers, on their address, central exchanges, you can name it. The first wave of tokenizing Bitcoins are still heavily depending on institutions. I mentioned this several times that WBTC, they're the pioneer trailblazer. CBBTC, obviously they have met the vast majority of usage on DeFi, whether on Base, Solana, you can name it. zBTC as a third biggest peer on Solana, running by a company that believes in tokenization of Bitcoin. So I guess our focus right now is that we have the infra, we have the tool, we have the achievements, we have the trust. How can we bring more zBTC? How can we bring more tokenized BTC like zBTC? Right? I still think that the next wave of Bitcoin business is not going to be by how many Bitcoin you buy. I would say it's going to be by how many Bitcoin that's being tokenized onto the blockchains to generate sustainable income, such as structured products around Bitcoins. You can name it. And, there's only going to be two ways to earn yield for your Bitcoin, right? One is off chain, putting a Bitcoin to someone else's. Second is putting on chain. And if all these banks, Wall Street finance bureaus are coming to Web3, taking over blockchain as a business, Bitcoin as a business, there's going to be more startups. There's going to be more teams that want to run like a Bitcoin banks, like Bitcoin protocols that through tokenizing Bitcoin on the blockchains. So I think that'll be the next wave of Bitcoin innovations, where we're going to start seeing more startups tokenizing to XYZ version of the BTC onto the chains, providing very, very differences of yield, allows fast maturities, whether from wallets, exchanges, on-chain users, you can name it. Everyone's going to deposit a Bitcoin into the XYZ BTC and earn different yield. So we want to be the focal point for onboarding these next wave of innovations that to tokenize the BTC through Zeus onto Solana or other blockchains. And the future alpha, obviously, we've been talking about like we want to build more applications. In fact, I want to point out that I would say 99% of Bitcoin layer 2 or Bitcoin so-called sidechain has been relatively quiet, and I'm very confident, and I'm very proud of my team that at this point of environments of markets, we're still constantly updating, striving, grinding toward the future that we all envision what would look like. And I think that's the future of on-chain Bitcoin economy, where there's going to be more tokenized BTC. There's going to be more users using Bitcoin application so they can buy more Bitcoin as well. So yeah, we have these ideas a while ago where we want to build more Bitcoin applications, but we want to build more application, but not connecting all these together, right? So I can give a bit of is that the next announcement, the next Bitcoin application that we're going to be announcing, we will unify the entire Bitcoin application that's been built by Zeus and adding more features. And hopefully we can call like a super app, so-called Bitcoin apps for Zeus, where it generate larger amount of revenues and attract large amount of user to our super apps as well. So this has been planned. We've been building on this. We've been thinking on this every day. Every day we wake up. I wake up, obviously, but we're very confident that the way we approach this, the way we have built the trust from the community, from the ecosystems, this is going to be extraordinary. Where it's going to be eye-catching for a lot of people. Where they realize that, oh, I don't have to just only build Bitcoin application onto a centralized database. I can start building Bitcoin application on Zeus and perhaps get involved with this application. So, I can't release more alpha unless we have the announcement planned yet, but stay tuned on that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Justin. Wow, you definitely turned up the heat on that one, which is timely because now we're moving into our fireside chat with our special guest, myself, and the moderator, Peter. Can we please bring up our distinguished guests?
ZM. All right, here we got Luke. All right, everybody, good to see you guys again. I am Peter. I am the moderator for the BTC Fireside Chat. Joining me here is Lou, co-founder of Loopscale, and Dees, growth lead at btcSOL. So, It's going to be a fun chat. There's a lot of DeFi things that we can update you guys, and also just a brief and general overview of what's happening, across the Solana DeFi ecosystem. First, I think we can get Luke to introduce yourself, although it's not your first time here. I'm sure some of our community members already recognize you, but today we got a pretty good crowd. So yeah, Luke, floor is yours.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on again. I'm Luke, co-founder of Loopscale. For those of you who aren't familiar with Loopscale, we are a borrow lend platform on Solana. We have a little bit of a different take on how to build out kind of the credit stack. So we support a lot of really interesting yielding assets, whether that's PT tokens from Exponent and RateX, liquidity positions on Radium, Orca, Meteora. And then all your kind of vanilla, Adrena liquidity provider position, Jupiter LP, and all the governance and, normal tokens. We have a really cool, a couple of products set up, in collaboration with the Zeus team, both zBTC Vault, which has built up almost $4 million of liquidity over the last month, and then a bunch of looping products for people who want to lever up on, yielding Bitcoin, LPs of zBTC, CBBTC, and a lot more. So excited to be here and big fans of the Zeus team.
Thanks, Luke. Always good to have you. Next up, Dees. Maybe you can do a little intro again. Not the first time in the stream, but there are some people that might have tuned in a little bit later. So, Dees, floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. Just a quick side note, avid user of Loopscale, so big fan. Thank you for bringing an awesome product. And it's like super simple to use. So, thanks to everyone. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely need to check it out. So I'm Dees. I'm the lead here at btcSOL. My mission is simple: make it so that we can put two of the fastest growing horses in the crypto ecosystem into as many users' hands as possible. Right? We call this the dual asset accumulation strategy. Right? You on one hand you'll have digital gold, which is Bitcoin, and on the other hand you have Nasdaq on chain. Right? So that's basically what we do here. We try and make it seamless and effortless, and I think we're well on our way to bringing as much zBTC into people's wallets as possible.
Nice. Guess who else is a Loopscale user? I am. So
this guy.
Funny thing is, I think we've been on the road for different conferences, multiple cities, and a lot of the communities or new people that have chatted with us are asking us, like, what do you do with zBTC? Like, what is the place where people put into, and how do you make yield? I think the general feedback from our end is that we have received tons of feedback about people using zBTC in borrow lending markets. And Loopscale has always been one of the places where people put their liquidity in. Of course, we're on the Bitcoin summer campaign. There is some incentives there, which is pretty attractive. But at the same time, I think ease of use, easy to use is one of the main things that people are looking for, especially people who are new to DeFi. We've been talking with a lot of people who were originally not from Solana, more of Bitcoin holders. And for them, everything on Solana is a little bit foreign and kind of new for them. So if you want to get them to do all kinds of crazy LPs with the bin settings and adjustment, monitoring the screen at all times, it is not really, really realistic. But in fact, putting in a borrow lending platform like Loopscale, Camino, Drift, some of these protocols, it seems like people are easy to digest. So I think that's some of the feedback that we've been seeing. So Luke, I know you guys directly working with a lot of Solana SOL liquidity and stablecoin liquidity these days, and of course Bitcoin liquidity being the third largest pools on Loopscale, with close to 4 million in zBTC deposit, and I think I just checked yesterday, over 155 loans, active loans, totaling over, just over $1.2 million. Loop Scale has been, gaining significant traction. What are some of the feedback that the users are shared on their experience, and what kind of new developments are on the roadmap for the users to expect in the coming near future?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think the biggest things, like you said, people want things to be really easy, one click, not really have to think about it all that much. But they want to be able to do something productive, with their assets. And so a lot of what we spend our time on is, kind of streamlining the ways that we can take interesting new things that are happening in the Solana ecosystem, whether that's new protocols that people are farming, liquidity pools that are getting a lot of trading volume and fees, and bake those into structures that allow users of those, or people who are trying to kind of engage in that farming activity or whatever it may be, the ability to really simply get access to leverage. So if they're already farming something, why don't you farm it even more? If you're earning fees on something, why don't you earn even more fees? And then kind of sharing effectively a portion of that upside with the lenders who are just supplying the assets. They don't know what's going on. They just want to sit there and forget about it, and earn that yield. And so you kind of have two different types of users. And so the set it, forget it lender type, and the really active, DeFi power user who's roaming around finding the next best thing to get access to. So, for example, one of the things we recently added was the ability to take out loans, zBTC loans, against your perp LP position. So ALP, JLP, FLP, all these things people are using that they really, they're earning yield on. They're generating fees within perp's ecosystem. But instead of taking out dollars to take a leveraged long position on it, you take out a portion of leverage in Bitcoin, so that you're actually hedging out some of the market exposure. So you're really trying to focus on just getting the yield from the perps platform, not necessarily having exposure to the market going up and down. And so that's been a big unlock for people. It also is really good for lenders because we're ultimately able to charge, a little bit higher rates for that because these perp platforms generate so much yield. So that's a lot of what we're trying to do, is just continue to grow the breadth of assets that we can support and the types of yield that we can support. And yeah, it makes the reasons for depositing Bitcoin into Loopscale, much, more relevant. If you have a lot of yield and the yield's diverse, it's not just one thing people are doing with it. You're kind of hedged against, one platform not doing so well, or, things falling out of favor with different users, etc. You're always recycling to the next thing. You might have 3-4 things at any point in time that people are really excited about getting leverage on. So that's what we're really excited for coming up here. Is I think there's a couple more interesting Bitcoin yield opportunities. We just want to make sure we're on top of it as it comes out, to make sure we're giving Loopscale users and zBTC holders kind of the best yields possible on Solana.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Luke. Yeah, so the audience, I'm sure now you're hearing different kinds of strategy to loop or get your zBTC to work for you. So we have started something called Z Pioneer, which is a community of zBTC holders who are seeking to look for ways to earn more and accumulate more Bitcoins. So there is a quest right now exclusive with Loopscale, and it's part of the Bitcoin Summer campaign. So for those that have participated in it, I'm sure you got some Bitcoin airdrop. But for those that are new, that are tuning in, you can scan the QR code. Basically, the quest will take you through what you need to do. And also, today we rolled out the Bitcoin report. And also, there is going to be a newsletter on different yield strategies. So I think that could be helpful for those people who are maybe new to the space, are learning some basic DeFi yield strategy to some of the more complex, higher risk, higher reward strategies. So those that are interested, make sure you can sign up to the newsletter. I'm gonna drop a QR code at the end. But yeah, so the idea is that based on your risk and reward, based on your experience, I think everyone has a chance to get their Bitcoin to work for them. So I think that's something that's going to be pretty interesting. The DeFi space is full of adventures. So there's always new innovation, always new different strategies. So stay tuned for that. With that being said, there's also a new update that was pushed with btcSOL, btcSOL 1.5. which supporting multiple LSTs now, starting with Marinate from the launch, now with btcSOL and KYSOL. How does this enhance the Bitcoin accumulation potential for the users, and which part of btcSOL v1.5 excite you the most from a user's perspective? Because I'm sure we're both users anyway.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, we've been really blessed with really good partners to work with, right? So as everybody will remember, we launched with the Marinate team, and they've been nothing but welcoming and gracious. And working with the KYSOL team has been equally seamless, and the Droop team as well. So I mean, when you have such a large base of holders, right? Our goal here has always been to seamlessly and effortlessly help users accumulate Bitcoin. Because it's my belief, since day one, that Bitcoin is like well on its way to becoming a tier 1 asset, right? We can all see that it's not going to be today or tomorrow, but it's well on its way, right? From being that whatever the original OG meme coin to where it is today. Yeah, it's definitely getting there, right? So that's part of the goal, but we're also kind of realistic, right? Like we also believe that you can't convince a SOL maxi or an all maxi to become a Bitcoin maxi, right? And vice versa. It's just not going to happen, right? But if we can help them accumulate Bitcoin without giving up their SOL position, then we believe it becomes a win-win, right? So that's our goal, right? So the overarching goal, when Justin brought me on, when he asked me what we want to do with btcSOL, is just to put Bitcoin in as many people's pockets as possible, right? So that will always remain the goal. And to answer your question directly, for the users, I mean, the UI becoming better, the platform becoming easier and clearer to use is one thing. But the thing that makes it most exciting would be that the part is that this upgrade is just the first step in our upgrade cycle path, right? There's so much more coming down the pipe. There's so much potential for btcSOL, and this first upgrade on v1.5 is just the phase 1, right? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to modularize these light upgrades to make it easier to roll out new LSD partners and new tweaks and new upgrades, right? And as you can clearly see, we'll be aligning campaigns, our signature 2x reward campaigns, to make accumulating Bitcoin an even more attractive proposition for users, right? So anybody kind of teetering on the edge, not sure what to do, should feel confident in that when they deposit their Solana or their LST of choice, they'll be able to kind of get that barbell approach with, like I said earlier, the two strongest assets. I believe the two strongest assets in the ecosystem, right? And yeah, so without giving away too much, there's further phases in our upgrade path for 1.5, and we're also working on V2, right? We hear the community. Like I said earlier, I like to build what the community wants, and if anything, the community on especially on Twitter is extremely vocal. So they always tell us what they want, and the skill is in picking through that kind of noise to find out what our true users want. And yeah, so that's kind of what we have, yeah, and so that's what I'm excited about, and that's what I feel the users should be excited about for a btcSOL as well.
Yeah, for sure. I think sending out the message to the community and educating the concept of btcSOL has been a pretty fun experience as well. I know the team has come up with the dual asset accumulation term. If you want to touch on a little bit about that, I think that would be pretty cool. And also AS.
Yeah, so our dual asset accumulation strategy is exactly that, right? So basically what we do is you'll deposit your SOL, and then we'll take a proportion of that yield and use it to accumulate Bitcoin for you. So there's your dual asset, and you accumulate this over time seamlessly, like Luke said earlier on. It's that set it and forget it kind of mentality, right? Like, so you should be able to, over time, this is our product isn't it's not magic, right? It's not like a get rich quick kind of thing, right? It's really a long-term play for people that are more long-term orientated, right? They take a little bit of their SOL and they want to stake it and then accumulate Bitcoin at the same time. So that's our dual asset accumulation strategy, DAS. And then I've recently coined the term ASS, which is always stacking stats, right? So I believe that everybody should always be stacking stats. So that's where that one came from. And we have our little mascot here. And then that's going to be B-Ball. He'll be going around to all the conferences and everything like that that we attend. And definitely hit us up at any booth you see or any event and grab one and take them home.
Awesome. Now I think the community want to hear about more rewards. So once again, for those that are already a Z Pioneer or haven't, make sure you go into the quest. There's going to be some Bitcoin rewards there. I think that's what everybody cares about, is to get more Bitcoin airdrop, right? So another reminder or alpha for the V1.5 launch for btcSOL. Des, I know you and the team have prepared also another 200% boost. I think maybe you can let everybody know when that is coming, because everybody loves more rewards, right?
Yeah, exactly. Of all the things that the community has voiced, as they always love the boost, right? So, like I said earlier, so it'll be starting on the 16th, September 16th, running all the way till the end of day on September 30th. All right, and whatever rewards you accumulate during that time, we will 2x it, as long as you remain staked. So that's the main qualifying thing, right? What we're trying to do is we're trying to make people understand that this is more of a longer term product for people to use, right? So we want to reinforce that behavior where it's you must remain staked for the duration of the 2 weeks, and in order to qualify, and you'll get double the zBTC rewards. So double the amount of Bitcoin you would have accumulated, claimable in about 2 weeks afterwards, because we need to do the math and everything like that behind the scenes. So definitely take part. Definitely claim it, and I would definitely recommend that you use some of your zBTC and deposit in the Loop scale and compound your earnings as well.
Definitely do that. All right. I think we got the rewards out of the way. So everybody who pay attention, make sure you get on that. And also there's 2 QR codes right here for Apollo Earn page. For those that have zBTC and want to look for different opportunities, you can scan and get into the Earn page. And also you'll be able to see Loop Scale's vault there. You can directly go there and deposit and get your zBTC working for you. And then secondly, the newsletter registration is some new initiatives that we're running. The Bitcoin report, some alpha strategies from easy to more complex. You can expect those to be coming out in the coming weeks or 2 weeks. So we're coming to an end in the last 4 minutes. I know, Luke, Loop Scale has been shipping a ton of new updates. Is there something that you would like to, update the community? And floor is all yours, Luke.
Yeah, sure. Like they said, check out the app, jump on Twitter. We're posting stuff, all the time. We have a ton of really interesting new collateral assets coming out soon, and some really interesting sort of hybrid RWA DeFi type launches that are going to be coming up here over the next month. So I would say the best thing is just stay tuned, and we're going to have some really exciting stuff, that we can share fairly shortly here.
All right.
Notifications on. Notifications.
Yeah, turn your notification on.
That's right.
Perfect.
All right. Awesome. Thanks again, Luke, for always being supportive and hopping on. I'm sure the community really enjoyed that as well. And also, lastly, want to shout out to the community who are here. I think I see a bunch of ZWG members here and Z Pioneer members leaving the comments. It's always good to see you guys. And also, thanks for being a moderator and a speaker at the end, and also moderating the end of the Olympus call. So I will pass the mic back to you. Thanks again, Luke. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you. Great to speak. Great to share what btcSOL and everybody has been working on so hard. So everybody can clearly see that nobody here is satisfied with where we are. We're only going to be pushing forward. So please turn on notifications to all our X accounts, as you can see here: Zeus Network, btcSOL, and Apollo BTC Portal. A huge thank you to everyone that puts in so much work behind the scenes. It's not just us that do stuff here. We have so many people that are behind the scenes working day and night to not only make this live stream possible, but everything at Zeus possible. Thank you, Frank, Evan, Azure, Mary, Jimmy, Johnny. Thank you so much for everything you do. And this is Dees signing out.